Dr. Ranjana Kumari, Director CSR, my friend and colleague Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Joint Secretary, Dr. Axel, Professor Mary John, Ms. Frederica, ladies and gentlemen, there are many known faces in the audience and you heard me many times. Sorry, I have to say the same thing over and over again so that it registers and we all carry the message forward again and again. I think Dr. Ranjana put it very aptly that prenatal child sex selection is actually not only about technology alone, it's about how we perceive women. And I will leave the technology part to Rakesh. I know he deals with it very, very professionally. I will just focus on what we can do as Ministry of Women and Child Development. As you are aware, I'm aware that there have been many significant initiatives at the local level, both by UN agencies, especially UNFPA, and by committed NGOs and institutions like CSR, who have worked tirelessly on the problem of child sex ratio. But as a country, I think when we stood up to acknowledge it, when the Prime Minister mentioned it on last 15th August from the Red Fort, I think that was the time that it all came together as a mission which India should take forward and stand up to. I'm not going to go into the details of how the child sex ratio has fallen from 1961 onwards. And the decline, as you know, from 927 in 2001 to 918 in 2011 is appalling. But I would really like to stress on what Dr. Ranjana did mention briefly, that the trend is extremely disturbing. It has nothing to do with education. It has nothing to do with prosperity. It has everything to do with our value system and our mindset. This, if you look at China, as she said that it is an international malaise. If you look at China, well, they had a one-child policy, and the son preference, the Asian phenomena, did sort of take over and resulted in elimination of girls. But here, where we have no such compulsion, where free will and democratic institutions, I think, are very firmly rooted, the choices have always been against the girls. So, as a ministry, and I think as a government, if you see the slogan that the Prime Minister raised, that of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, it is of holistic empowerment of women. Because child sex ratio is just not about technology, I would like to repeat. It is about disempowerment of women on a life cycle continuum. The pre-birth, prenatal sex selection indicates discrimination even before birth. And then once she's born, then the cycle of discrimination starts, both in terms of nutrition, in medical attention, then in education, then in terms of child marriage, then in terms of multiple pregnancies, in terms of anemia, in terms of the burden of household work, which is hardly acknowledged, and then the quality of life and the denial of having to fulfill her own potential. So her aspirations actually don't matter at all. So in terms of this kind of a life cycle disempowerment that we are looking at and addressing in terms of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, I think the government's policy is on the right track. But from this two-day conference that you are holding, I look forward to your findings on international policy that has impacted favorably other nations. We were trying to, actually I was trying to find out what were the initiatives internationally. In fact, I requested Mrs. Ina from UNFPA to help us in that. And I found that there was no one comprehensive, policy across the world which addressed this in a holistic manner. That way, I think we have made a good start. There are many, obstacles, or I would say challenges, which are before us, which I think Rakesh is already dealing with. In this initiative of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, we are actually, this is a tri-ministerial initiative of WCT, Medical Health and Family Welfare, and Ministry of HRD. I'd just like to tell you some heartening happenings that have occurred since this Beti Bachao campaign was launched. I would in fact call it a mission. Now there are many states who have come forward, because another thing is that when we were designing this so-called scheme, in fact I don't call it a scheme, I would like to call it an initiative, but it does have scheme components. So when we were designing that, one thing that we were very sensitive to was that one size doesn't fit all. So at the level of the ministry, we cannot be prescriptive. We can only give a template for a district action plan, because real action is in the districts. Here we are laying policy guidelines, trying to monitor, putting things together, but real action is there. So that is why slowly, because this was launched only in January this year, as you're aware, slowly when the initiatives have started rolling in, it's very interesting how the states have taken up this mission depending on their ethos and their value system. And of course, I would again like to stress that it's very disturbing that, with prosperity, our sun preference hasn't changed. South Delhi has the highest decline in child sex ratio, which is so disturbing. In fact, I live in South Delhi, but incidentally, I have 2 daughters. Now, let's talk about Haryana first. As a government, a cash award of 1 lakh for whistleblowers under the PCPNDT Act has been recently announced by Haryana. They have actually incorporated in we have an annual assessment of officers. So they have incorporated the performance under child sex ratio to be evaluated of the officers of these selected districts. Then the Bibipur Sarpanch selfie with Beti, which actually has gone viral after PM mentioned in Man Ki Baat, is another initiative. In fact, Bibipur Sarpanch is always 2 steps ahead of us. Now he has initiated a campaign of Lado on nameplates. So that means the nameplates in the houses should have a daughter's name also, very apt. And Dr. Anjana was saying that can this change the child sex ratio? I firmly believe that yes, it will go a long way. Why, I shall tell you, because again, to repeat that it is not just about technology. It is about mindset. It is about giving visibility to the problem. It is about recognizing the problem. It's about naming and shaming people who indulge in this kind of behavior. So if we keep on talking about it, and if we do it on not only at a micro level, but at a macro level as a nation also, I'm sure somewhere it will change our outlook. At least we'll be ashamed to say कि हमारा तो बेटा है, हमारी तो बेटी नहीं है, I mean this kind of thing. Because I've seen many people. In fact, to be very frank, many people have also sympathized with me that I have 2 daughters. Aren't you trying for a son? I said, no, I'm very happy with it. So, when I was much younger, of course. So, you see, this is the giving visibility to the issue, and when we are doing it as a nation, I'm sure it will make a difference. Rakesh will also tell you, sorry Rakesh, I am sort of taking it from you. He has very thoughtfully, actually, they have come up with a proposal to include child sex ratio in the MBBS curriculum. I think that is a great initiative. Because we find sometimes actually doctors don't even know about the problem. It's not that everybody is greedy or everybody wants to make money or everybody is bad. But sometimes one is not aware of the problem. Frankly, as a civil servant, I didn't know that the problem was so acute. I just knew it in the periphery. So therefore, talking about it and including it as part of the curriculum, I think is a great initiative. Then Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh and Maharashtra, they have actually instituted Best Panchayat / Villages awards to people who are able to improve the child sex ratio. Then there are these Beti Bachao campaigns which have been taken up by various states. Of course, we also had our mobile van going around in the first 2 months. But there are these special Hamari Beti Express by Gujarat. There's another one in Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh and Chandigarh. Just a few days back, okay, 5 minutes left, sorry. So just a few days back, the collector Jalagaon came with a digital Gudda Guddi board. Actually under our scheme, and we are stressing on constant updation and visibility of the disaggregated birth statistics. And in every panchayat they have set up a little, it's like a little TV where you can also show videos on nutrition, on Beti Bachao, and on this problem as a whole. I think this is a very important grassroots initiative. Then Cuddalore I'd like to mention, where the collector so far since January has prevented 124 child marriages. So they are actually opening the Sukanya Smriti accounts, giving Badhai Patras to parents on birth of children, including sapling, planting of a sapling. We do have this Piplantri initiative, as you already know. And then interesting thing is that government of J&K has come up with a Beti Hai Pehchan scheme. They are going to announce it very soon. And this is again an incentive for the girl, which will last for about 14 years and help in her education. So these are the various things that are happening at the government level. My time is up, and I'd just like to say that I wish the conference the very best. And though the secretary was supposed to be here, I have come. Sorry to disappoint you for that. And I look forward to the findings of this conference. Thank you.